how do you walk the tightrope between church and state for you, right? Because you've also been a politician. You were, Secretary of State for the state of New Jersey. You have wielded power behind the scenes with corporate America, and on Sundays, in the pulpit. And you were telling me that C. Vivian Stringer was a member of your congregation, and that made me smile because I did not know she and Jolette Law used to go to your
Yeah.
church.
And I never
I
knew
was like,
your cousin played basketball for her in Iowa. Let me tell you quickly what happened. When C. Vivian Stringer came to New Jersey from Iowa, her husband had died. She was looking for new opportunities for her sons and of course her daughter. But
Nina.
because she got the contract she did to coach women at Rutgers, she was the highest paid state employee in New Jersey. And I kept reading about all of this ranting, legislators going on the floor of the New Jersey legislature, just talking about this woman, the way people are talking about Dawn Staley today. And they criticized her and they wanted hearings. So I just got up in church one Sunday.
Wait, they were trying to block
Yes,
her from.
ma'am. Her contract
Wow,
in the
I didn't know.
legislature.
I didn't know that.
And I got up on Sunday morning, one Sunday, I just went off. And I told the church what I was about to do and dealt with this issue of this Black woman, despite the fact of who she was, that they're going to criticize her and beat her up. Well, one of my deacons then passed me a note and said, she's sitting behind you in the choir stand. She had been attending my church for weeks and I never knew it. And of course, we became friends. She began bringing players to the church. Jolette Law came. Jolette's from South Carolina. My wife is from South Carolina. And so they're bonded, and the team started coming, which is why when Don Imus called them nappy-headed hoes, and they came to church that Sunday morning, I basically worked with them to resolve that situation. I organized a meeting between them and Don Imus. I got Don Imus to look at them and apologize one by one to their players and their families. And then we were at the governor's mansion. That was my week. I was supposed to be on vacation that week, but these were my members. So I wasn't chasing the story. They came to church on Easter and the media showed up and the rest is history.
Wow, y'all. You know what? There's no coincidences in this world, but I also believe
None.
that there is a thread that runs through us spiritually that's going to always tie us together. I love that story. That's why I love you. 866-801-8255. Let's take some calls, but before we do, the tightrope that you walk.
Yeah, the tight.
How do you? Yes.
To the extent that it is a tightrope, I never considered it a tightrope because I am a Christian and my focus is not on Paul, not on Moses, not on John. My focus is on Jesus. And what I love about Jesus and what I talk about on Sunday mornings is that, Jesus wasn't that deep. In fact, Jesus wasn't that religious. A guy asked Jesus, how do I get to heaven? And Jesus said, love God, love your neighbor. And the guy said, well, who is my neighbor? Jesus never quoted a scripture. He just said, look, there was a man walking down Jericho Road. The religious crowd forsook him. A stranger, a Samaritan helped him out. You tell me who's the neighbor, you see? So for me, Jesus is the model. I'm not a follower of Paul or Peter or Jeremiah. I'm a follower of Jesus. Jesus said that the greatest among you serve. Jesus said that he was anointed to preach good news to the poor and set captives free. So I've just tried to model my public life, my political life, my preacher life, my family life, my friendship life around the person and principles of Jesus.
I was thinking about this this morning when I was in the shower. I was like, I wonder these followers of Christ. The first Christian convert was a eunuch. So, was a eunuch in a African court.
Right.
Ethiopian, right? One of Queen Candace's
he was
eunuchs.
The Secretary of the Treasury.
Yes, Philip. Great authority he had, and but he was a eunuch, right? So he's talking about her not being married and all of this stuff. And was Jesus married? Dr. Soaries, I'm just curious.
No.
I just need to know. I need to know, was Jesus married?
No, he was not married. And by the way, that same Paul that said those things about women, Paul said, I wish nobody got married. That's what Paul said. Paul said, I wish everyone was like me and committed to being single, married to the church. So it gets real silly, but it also gets dangerous because when ignorance and evil combine, they get access to power and bad things happen. Our people have been exposed to more of that than any group of people in this country, and so we must resist it.
And we shouldn't do it to other people. I mean, but there's almost human nature, like the desire to put the microscope on the ant, put the magnifying glass on the ant because you have the power to do it. Because now I got
Well,
the magnifying glass.
it is human nature, and that's why spiritual people understand that divine spirit gives you the power to override what would normally be human nature. And so, with the help of God, that's what the role of God is. God gives us the help to outdo ourselves, to do better than we would normally do if we didn't have access to God's power.
Now, what if you don't believe? Let's talk about that in a minute, but let's go to the phones first. So for folk who are listening, who we were just talking about Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, Eid Mubarak, to those who are ending their fast from Ramadan. They believe in God as Allah, right? Not Jesus. There are folk who are Buddhist. We were just talking to Dr. Sunyata, probably leans more towards Buddhism. I feel like we should have the capacity to explore all of the things that we can explore, but love all of the people, no matter what they believe. But let's have that conversation after we take some calls, because people want to talk to you, and I'm happy about that. So let's go to Ohio and welcome in Derek. Hi.
Hey, Queen, how you doing?
I'm good. Putting my crown on.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And Pastor and Dr. Soaries, I wasn't expecting to talk to you, but it's amazing. I wanted to get two things in quick if I could, Queen.
Sure.
First on the Whitlock thing. Oh, wait a minute. Hi to all my Nubians out there teaching all the Nubians. I love y'all. But the Whitlock thing is I've been successfully married, me and my wife now, for over 20 years. And she was a full woman when I proposed to her. And I was a full man when she accepted. So we were counseled by our pastor and his wife. And that was one of the main teachings. He said she was a woman on her own without you. She could be a woman on her own with you.
Yeah.
And we both take that. I don't stand over her. She don't stand over me. We stand together. Just like I always say, I don't separate a man from a woman. I don't separate black women from black men. We're one. And that's how we approach this thing. So people like him, he's really not someone that you could count on. And I know everybody knows that, but that was my opinion on that one.
So why do you think he has such a big following, though, Derek? Because that's the thing to me. I was amazed, and then I wasn't when I watched people follow Trump, because I understood, in many ways, rap culture, deified him, and television, took it to the next level, and we are obsessed. I was surprised when the Kardashians became as successful and powerful as they have become, because I'm like, what are we doing here? I remember having these lessons in my journalism class about why we're chasing celebrity versus news, and it made it hard for me to even teach the tenets of journalism because it all went out the window. Celebrity was everything, right? And so when I look at somebody this broken with such a following, I'm like, why are people following him in these numbers and seemingly in agreement? Are we all that broken? Is society that broken, Derek?
I don't think so. I personally, on the Jason Whitlock thing, I just think it's like Public Enemy said, fear of a black planet. That's that part of it. Because why else would you attach yourself to someone like that? He's a as you say, a black adjacent, or I forget the word you use when you say a person colored that way, but their message isn't that way. People who are against us evolving and being better are going to always follow somebody like that because it keeps their thing going. But can I say something to Dr. Soaries?
Absolutely.
Great. I back when I was in college, remember the Phil Donahue show. And I still reference this every year, maybe more than I should, but it was an issue of race that Phil Donahue did. And through the years, I've been watching this thing through the years. But last year when I watched it, there was a segment about this pastor who was doing these great things, and it was Dr. Soaries on there. And I got so excited because I'm connected to him now. And it's like, man, that's amazing. This brother been doing this for many years. And I know you might be a little more gray than you were then, but man, we appreciate you I appreciate you, the way you represent our God, because we live in a world that our God is put in many different ways, but not expressed properly. But thank you for being a leader, a brother, a man who I really learned to appreciate and love through the years.
Thank you so much. I take that very seriously, and I humbly accept it. And I thank God for the opportunity. And I thank Karen. Karen is the one that pushed me back out here. I was pretty much minding my business, and she came in. Boy, you stop minding your business and get back out here. So thank you.
I want to say yes. Need you to do more and say less. I want to say yes. Need you to do more and say less. I thought you knew.